welcome from Wanto, New York, Joe Russo. Our next senior is in his fourth season at Hofstra. He was a Pride's Freshman of the Year in 2021-2022. Earlier this season, he was a pool champion at the Journeyman Collegiate Classic, and he's currently second on the team in wins, accompanied by his mother Anna, father Roger, sister Natasha, and her boyfriend Brody. Please welcome, from Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, Nicholas Miller. Our next senior has been a member of the Pride for 4 years. He was the Joel Kislin Best Attitude Award recipient as a freshman and has served as a Hofstra SAAC representative. He has also been the recipient of an EIWA Academic Achievement Award, accompanied by his mother Kelly, father Leo, brother Greg, sister Sophia, and girlfriend Gabby. Please welcome, from Sayreville, New Jersey, Dylan Acevedo. Our final senior has been a 6-year member of the Pride and was the 2020-2021 Joel Kislin Best Attitude Award recipient. He has been a place winner at the EIWA Championships and is a 4-time EIWA Academic Achievement Award recipient. He has been nationally ranked throughout the season and is tied for second on the team in victories, accompanied by his grandma Linda, mother Angel, her boyfriend Greg, sister Dakota, nephew Rowan, and girlfriend Mackenzie. Please welcome, from Pennsylvania, New York, Acevedo. At 133 for Drexel, a redshirt sophomore from Williamstown, New Jersey, John Hildebrand, or a redshirt senior from Holland, Pennsylvania, Kyle Waterman. And for your pride, a redshirt junior from Massapequa, New York, Chase Leardy. At 141 for Drexel, a redshirt freshman from Mount Laurel, New Jersey, Trey Freeman, or a junior from Westbury, New York, Jordan Soriano. For your pride, a graduate student from Maple Valley, Washington, Justin Hoyle. At 149 for Drexel, a redshirt sophomore from Darlington, Pennsylvania, Dom Ventura. And for your pride, a sophomore from Moline, Illinois, Noah Tapia. At 157 for Drexel, a freshman from Rahway, New Jersey, Jonathan Fuller, or a redshirt junior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Abubakar Diaby, or a redshirt senior from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, Luke Nichter. Hofstra will be forfeiting this weight class. At 165 for Drexel, a redshirt sophomore from Glen Olden, Pennsylvania, Tom D'Agostino, or a redshirt senior from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Cody Walsh. And for your pride, a redshirt junior from Toronto, New York, Matt Rogers. At 174 for Drexel, a redshirt freshman from Elizabeth, New Jersey, Josiah Queen. For your pride, a redshirt freshman from Cedartown, Georgia, Matthew Watson. At 184 for Drexel, a graduate student from Lakewood, New York, Giuseppe Hoos, or a redshirt sophomore from Washington Township, New Jersey, Ethan Wilson. For your pride, a graduate student from Hamilton, New York, Russ McFarland. At 197 for Drexel, a graduate student from Hanford Heights, New Jersey, Mickey O'Malley. And for your pride, a redshirt sophomore from Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, Nicholas Miller. At 285 for Drexel, a senior from St. Louis, Missouri, Ibrahim Amir, or redshirt sophomore from Sewell, New Jersey, Tom Petracci. And for your pride, a redshirt freshman from Erie, Pennsylvania, Dennis Church. Drexel coached by Matt Acevedo, the assistant coaches are Laura Correnti, Jimmy Oberheiser, and Chad Walsh. Your pride are coached by Jamie Franco in his first season at his alma mater. The assistant coaches are Jesse Delavecchia, Anthony Sabatner, and Joe Luke. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise if you are able and join us as we honor America and those who protect it with the playing of our national anthem.
Are live from the David S. Mack Physical Education Center for Hofstra's last dual meet of the season as they take on Drexel University. Last week, the Pride made a short trip to LAU where they beat the Sharks 19-16. They sit at 7-4 on the season and 4-1 in the EIWA. As for the Dragons, they also come off a 36-6 win over LAU just a couple hours ago and are 10-9 and 5-1 this season. Hofstra has 2 ranked wrestlers in Ross McFarland and Kyle Mosher, while Drexel has 6 ranked wrestlers. I'm Olivia Hilstead, joined today by Zach Weicker. And Zach, we're going to get going here at 125 pounds.
Yes, we are. We are starting at 125 pounds. pounds with Dylan Acevedo, who is a senior from Saryville, New Jersey, with a record of 6-14 this season, taking on Desmond Pleasant, who is a junior, also from New Jersey, with a 12-5 record this season. As you saw earlier in the ceremony, this is Dylan Acevedo's last match at home for the Pride. He is a senior and will be graduating after this season. And overall with the Pride, he has a 13-49 record. And last year was a big season for Acevedo, showed a lot of improvement in his game. Picked up 7 wins that season, but showed what he's truly capable of.
His opponent, Desmond Pleasant, ranked number 33 in the country at 125 pounds. Acevedo quick to a leg here, though. Working for the single, but we're going to stop here for potentially dangerous. We'll get reset here about 45 seconds into this match so far.
Drexel did face LIU earlier today. Desmond Pleasant found himself getting a 4-3 victory over Robbie Segaris, who's a familiar opponent to Dylan Acevedo, but Acevedo fell to Segaris earlier this season.
Acevedo working an underhook here, trying to control ties. Working in the center of the mat here. Some heavy hands. So he's starting to move Pleasant. Acevedo sitting at 6-14 so far this season, 16-50 in his Hofstra career.
Pleasant is a very tough competitor. So far this season, we mentioned 12 victories, and 7 of them came in his last 8 contests. He has been on a roll. He has been picking up a lot of victories as of late. He's looking to get another one against Dylan Acevedo here today, but Acevedo is going to do his best to prevent that.
1 minute.
Scoreless so far, about a minute left in this first period. The two did wrestle last season when Hofstra wrestled LAU in the last dual meet. Previously, Acevedo losing that match 5-1. But so far, he's looked pretty strong in this match. He had that first shot attempt, really the first offense of this match, as they've kind of just been hand fighting for most of this period. But Pleasant starting to pick up the pace a little bit here with some heavier hands.
Lots of hand fighting in the first period. These two wrestlers are familiar with each other, as you mentioned. They know what each other is good at, so they're being very careful on the feet.
Acevedo still working that underhook and that club. Heavy on the collar tie, but not really digging the underhook, so he's kind of content to just work out the rest of this time. But these two might be even more familiar than I thought originally, both from New Jersey. So high likelihood that they maybe encountered each other in high school even.
Yes, very high likelihood of that. Both wrestlers were very accomplished in high school. Acevedo notching over 100 wins for the Bombers in Saryville. All-county champion as a sophomore. State champion in New Jersey, so he accomplished a lot in his time in New Jersey.
So in this second period, Pleasant started on bottom, but he got the escape, so that'll put him on the board, 1-0 right now. Gonna get reset here. Pleasant now on the leg. Working to break Acevedo down. Nothing yet. Acevedo trying to lift from the crotch. Trying to avoid. Referee saying no points yet. Pleasant still working, though, and so he'll get the takedown there. Acevedo holding an ankle, though, trying to work around, but he won't be able to. So Pleasant will get the takedown and put himself up 4-0.
Pleasant did a good job of getting in on the legs. He's very fast, got 2 hands on the legs before Acevedo even had a chance to sprawl out. He stuck with it, saw him turk the leg. You saw Acevedo trying to build the base, but Pleasant did a good job of grabbing Acevedo's hand and bringing it back towards him.
Pleasant continuing to ride pretty heavy here as we get to towards the end of the second period here. Can't really set up any turns, though. Acevedo's doing a good job of staying really steady, even though he has broken down.
With a few seconds left on the clock, it looks like that will do it for the second period. Pleasant is going up 4-0 going into third, but Dylan Acevedo does have choice heading into his final period, and he elects to go neutral.
We're going to go back to some hand fighting here. Pleasant controlling wrist right now. Acevedo with an inside tie, though. Pleasant, a little snap there. It's more heavy pressure, but Acevedo pushing in here. Trying to get his offense going. He needs more than a takedown here in order to win. Nice little shot attempt there. Pleasant's been backing up a lot as they go still in and out of bounds there. There's some good action right there on the edge of the mat.
Very good action. Both wrestlers were aggressive. Acevedo chose a risky position starting at neutral. He did not want to get that 1 point on bottom, but as we mentioned, these two are familiar with each other. Maybe in the previous match, Acevedo recalled having a trouble time getting up, or maybe he's confident on the feet. You saw him there very aggressive, pushing for the action, and he's aggressive to get that 3 points.
Acevedo trying to control ties here. He's got less than a minute to work. This would be a really big win for Acevedo, as Pleasant is ranked number 33 in the country. As Pleasant in on the leg again. Low on the ankle here of Acevedo. Acevedo trying to reach down towards the ankles, but Pleasant coming out the back, isolating a leg, doing a good job of turning to one side. He's got Acevedo exposed on his back, but referee saying no points yet. There's some danger calls, so we'll see what the score ends up being here, but not in a good spot for Acevedo. Though now they're kind of in this 50-50, both on an ankle, so we'll see if he can work around it. Acevedo's got to keep moving in this position. He doesn't want to stay still. Gonna keep working to the side here. Got to watch the knee on Pleasant, though, as legs might get a little extended there. Acevedo just trying to hold on to the leg now. But that won't be enough for Acevedo, as it's going to be 5-0 victory for Desmond Pleasant. So that's going to bring Drexel up 3-0 to start this dual meet.
That was 40 seconds of pure scrambling. We saw Pleasant get in on the leg fast. Going backdoor, Turk the leg to get into a good position. We saw the 50-50, but Dylan Acevedo did not give up, rolling through to keep going, preventing Pleasant to get points, but unfortunately, with the time left in the matchup, Dylan Acevedo couldn't get more points on the board to keep himself in the match. Despite the loss, we move on to 133, where Chase Liardi, a redshirt junior from Massapequa, New York, with an 11-10 record this season, will be taking on Kyle Waterman, who is a redshirt senior from Pennsylvania, and a 14-9 record on the season.
Liardi quick to a leg here. Nice little high crotch, and now Waterman on his front headlock, but Liardi controlling that elbow, pulling the arm down. He's able to work out of that. But a really good first shot attempt from Liardi. Posting on the head here. Quick little jab there from Liardi.
Liardi is coming off a huge win at LIU. The Pride saw themselves down with 2 matches to go. Liardi was able to get a tech fall on the board to give the Pride 5 points in a 15-1 victory over Hofstra.
Liardi deep on the legs here. Not really even trying to come out the back, just trying to lift to put Waterman down while keeping it legal. Now working out the back, trying to isolate one side. Waterman really committing to Liardi's ankle, though, to make it really difficult, and using his legs to kind of scissor Liardi and make it difficult for him to get around. Liardi's still working here. He just needs to start to turn. Referee saying no points yet, but Liardi's almost there. Waterman is really using that ankle control, though, to make it difficult for Liardi to turn the corner. He's almost there, though, as Liardi tries to use a crossface here to kind of create some distance. Waterman starting to get his hips high, though. So the two are still stuck in that scramble, but that's going to be a stalemate. So they can go back to their feet, but some really good scrambles here early in this match.
Very good scramble. You saw both wrestlers get lifted in the air when Liardi was there. He goes down. Liardi had trouble getting around the leg. He was wrapping the leg in an unorthodox position. Then once they got on that 50-50, Liardi couldn't get the points. Waterman did a good job getting the ankle on, making sure that his back wasn't taken over by Liardi.
Some more hand fighting here. Liardi's tried to set up maybe a rush in there, some more control really. Pretty heavy with the hand there. About a minute left in this first period. Liardi trying to work inside control here on the ties. Nice little exchange there. Little shot by Waterman. Shot by Liardi in on the leg. But Waterman does a good job of raising Liardi up, the body making it hard for him to finish that shot.
Liardi pushing on the edge of the mat, trying to get a stolen warning, and he does so.
About 20 seconds left in this first period.
Still
scoreless, but we've seen a lot of shots, a lot of really good exchanges, some good offense from both guys.
And these are two wrestlers who are known for getting points on the board. We mentioned Liardi got a tech fall at LAU, but earlier today, Waterman also got himself a tech fall. A different opponent, but both these guys are known to getting points on the board, and right now we're sitting at a 0-0 matchup.
Off the first.
The two have pretty similar scores on the season. Liardi sitting at 11-10, while Waterman is 12-9. So pretty similar feeling going into, well, the next time these two will meet up would be at the EIWA Championship. So any of the wins here tonight are going to be really important going into that championships. It really helps set the tone and gets the guys ready. You know, last season when Hofstra wrestled Drexel in the last dual meet, it was kind of a beating. And that kind of continued into the championship. So if you can get your momentum going here, especially with only one tournament left before that postseason, it's really important.
EIWs is very important, and you mentioned seeding. Liardi is one of those guys who's going to be in that middle range of seeding. He's going to be around that 8 to 10 range, assuming so.
Yeah, Waterman currently ranked number 4 in just the EIWA. Liardi not one of those top 6 wrestlers, but we'll continue to check in on those rankings as we go through these matches today, so you know how these guys match up. But Waterman started on bottom in this period, got the escape, so a lot like Pleasant, where he gets on the board first. Liardi, though, has controlled most of the offense in this match, taking another shot, stuffed by Waterman, though, who has him in a front headlock now. Waterman with a nice little knee tap, but Liardi able to get back to his hips and recover. That was really good defense by Liardi there. Waterman in on another shot, in on Liardi's legs this time. Liardi with a heavy whizzer, though. Trying to create as much distance as he can, hitting the splits on the edge of the mat. Waterman trying to elevate the leg here and drag Liardi back into bounds. Liardi heavy on the whizzer, though. Really trying to post out, but Waterman will get to the ankle, and so he'll get the takedown here on the edge of the mat. Put himself up 4-0.
That was a tough battle at the edge of the mat. You saw Liardi in that split position, as you mentioned. He was basically out of bounds. Waterman dragged him back in. He was reluctant to get the 3 points. Did a good job of wrapping behind Liardi, putting him, grabbing both legs and putting him in an uncomfortable position that got him the 3 points.
So Liardi got the escape there to get himself on the board, but now in on a shot on Waterman's legs. Again, trying to come out the back, trying to isolate that right side, turn the corner. Waterman is searching for Liardi's ankle, though, so Liardi's got to keep his feet down as much as he can. It's a really short time to work here, though. But if he's able to get around, that would be huge going into the third period. There won't be enough time. So, final period, Waterman up 4-1 on Chase Liardi here.
A very close matchup between two very tough wrestlers. Waterman has faced a lot of matches in his time in Drexel, going 42-35 overall. And last season, he did redshirt, but still competed on attachment tournaments, getting a 7-6 record in them. But we saw Liardi getting another escape and making the match 4-2.
So Liardi got the escape there from bottom. Took a shot, but just his head was a little bit low. Waterman stuffed him really easily. So see if Liardi can not only keep this offense going, but actually finish his shots. Even though I feel like he's taken most of the shots, they haven't been successful yet. So Liardi in on the legs again. Once again, trying to come out the back. This is the same position we've seen a few times in this match. Waterman on the ankles. So Liardi really has to isolate a side and commit to that while not lifting his ankles to keep Waterman from being able to initiate his own offense. Liardi doing a good job of getting to the hips, working around. Still on the leg. Waterman pretty stretched out though, so Liardi's got to kind of build up, get his hips under him, get his head up, pull his arm in. He's got a minute to work, so he's got to get going, or they're going to get returned back to their feet. So that's going to be a stalemate, so they'll go back to their feet.
Sorely already stuck in that position on the bottom. We would like to suck the leg and try to get his body to the outside, elevate from there. But Waterman did a good job of sprawling out, getting his hips as far away from Liardi as possible. But another stalling warning for Waterman.
So a stall point was awarded to Liardi. So if he's able to get a takedown here, he would win the match. He's got a short time to work. Once again, in the same position he's been in a few times in this match, but Waterman on the ankle once again. Liardi's really got to commit to the movement, though. He's got a short time. This is really his golden opportunity if he's able to get around. Now fully sitting out to avoid Waterman getting to his ankles. Super short time to work here, though. Liardi's got to really turn the corner here. It's not going to be enough. So Chase Liardi will fall 4-3 to Kyle Waterman.
Very close matchup. And that matchup was all determined about that takedown from the side of the mat. Liardi was so close to getting out of bounds when he was in a bad position, but Waterman used his mat awareness to suck him back in, get 3 points. We saw Liardi in those backdoor positions plenty of times in the match, but Waterman did a good job defending them, preventing any points. But we do move on to 141, where Justin Hoyle, a graduate student from Maple Valley, will be with a 9-10 record, will be taking on Jordan Soriano, a junior from Westbury, New York, with a 15-6 record this season.
We're off to a pretty hot start here with Soriano initiating that offense and Hoyle doing a good job of using that for his own re-attack as he's got Soriano in this front headlock. Now these two are very familiar with each other. Soriano coming in as ranked number 28 in the country, so he seems to be the favorite, but Hoyle did beat Soriano 2 times in the previous 2 times these two wrestled. Of course, that was back in 2023 after Hoyle missed last season due to injury. And looking at the EIWA ranking, Soriano comes in at number 2, whereas Hoyle has been kind of in and out, but not in this month's poll. But like we said, Hoyle's a guy who's been right there. This is his senior night. This is his last season. He's really looking to peak now and finally make that NCAA berth that he's always dreamed of.
That was his goal since the start. And last season, he made it clear. Unfortunately, he got injured. And it was close to the end of the season. He had a tough choice. He could have went into the EIW championships, slightly injured, but pushed through. But he decided that he wanted to be fully healthy to try to fulfill this dream of his of competing in the national championships. Justin Hoyle is someone that's been a captain for the Pride multiple seasons. He placed 7th in the EIWAs in 2023 and has had close to 100 matches with the Pride.
Soriano in on the front headlock now. Front headlock and an underhook. So really trying to control Hoyle. Hoyle Good job building to his feet, using this position to get to the legs even.
Now the 2 times these 2 competitors have faced off, the first time was a very close matchup where Hoyle beat Soriano 6-4 in overtime on February 5th in 2023. But the other time they faced off, it wasn't as close. Hoyle won an 8-1 victory on March 4th of 2023. But Soriano was a freshman back then and has improved immensely since then.
Soriano had a beautiful blanket of the game. Had a beautiful shot to a double, but they went out of bounds on that finish there. High crotch double. I know that word. But Hoyle did a good job of defending on the edge of the mat. So Soriano in on the double again, really lifting this time. Hoyle doing a good job of trying to keep some space, but he won't be able to, and so that's going to be the takedown for Soriano. Hoyle is quick to his feet, though, so Soriano has to switch to a single here to try to hold on, and so they're going to go out of bounds, and it's going to be a stall warning on Soriano.
Soriano is known for being aggressive and fast on the feet. You saw him both times when he got on the legs. He was fast on the legs, deep in on the legs. Soriano the second time around was able to get 3 points with that takedown. And Soriano is a local from Westbury, New York. Competed at Clark in his high school career. Was ranked in high school. A very talented guy. Knows the area very well. Right there we saw him on top, but Justin Hoyle was able to get his first point of the matchup with an escape.
Yeah, that was a really tough kind of few seconds there for Hoyle, where Soriano was really doing everything he could to bring him back to the mat, but Hoyle stayed really strong and was able to get away. You just said Soriano, a local. Justin Hoyle, not local at all.
Not.
Originally from Maple Valley, Washington. Wrestled in high school at Wyoming Preparatory School, in Pennsylvania. So made the journey coast to coast, really, for wrestling. So they get set here in the second period. 3-1's the score. Soriano quick to his feet, controlling hands well, so he'll get the escape here. Soriano's really been controlling most of the offense, but Hoyle has responded well and used it to kind of reattack and create his own opportunities. We'll see if he's able to do that again here. As Hoyle gets around there, but Soriano too fast, continues to move and gets to the legs himself. Starting to break Hoyle down. Hoyle trying to get away, and he'll get away and avoid the takedown. So what a flurry of action there from Justin Hoyle to avoid getting taken down.
A great sequence. It all started with a shot from Hoyle. You saw Soriano reshoot, and it looked like he was about to get the 3 points, but Hoyle did not give up, burst it out, and was able to bring the 2 back to neutral.
Soriano in on a front headlock here on Hoyle. About a minute left in the second period. But that sequence is really a testament to the never stop moving mentality. If either guy had stopped, the other one could have taken advantage there and won the position, but they both just continue to work through, continue to move. Soriano in on the leg here, though. Hoyle really trying to get away, trying to get around. Still nothing yet here. Soriano on the leg. Hoyle trying to step around, lifting Soriano's ankle here. Right on the edge of the mat. Still in barely, but they'll go out here. The Drexel bench did not like any of that, though.
Yes, the Drexel bench was screaming for a stalling warning, and you saw Hoyle bounce his way out of bounds. He wasn't really trying to fight the ball, he was kind of just trying to get out of bounds, but the referee did not notch it as a stalling, and Hoyle get no stalling warning. But once again, Soriano was fast on the legs. See him shoot again. Both wrestlers kind of went in on a shot. And Soriano is now in a single leg position.
Yeah, Soriano really lifting Hoyle here. You're seeing Hoyle have to lift a lot, jumping and stuff. But he'll avoid getting taken down again. So Justin Hoyle is really giving a masterclass in defense and how to avoid the takedown basically in any way possible. As we go into this third period, he's only down 4-1. The number of opportunities Soriano has had that Hoyle has not let him be successful at, it's pretty impressive.
Yes, this is a very exciting and impressive matchup. You look on the offensive Soriano side, he's doing a great job of getting on the legs, and every time it seems like he's about to get the 3 points. But Hoyle's defense has been phenomenal. Just the way he's been able to escape out of these really tricky and it seems like impossible positions to make this a very close matchup. As you see Hoyle get another escape and making the score 4-2.
So a takedown would put Justin Hoyle up and win the match round, which would be a huge win over a ranked opponent. But he's got to get there first. So starting his offense here, it's going to be a stall warning on Hoyle, but Soriano in on the legs. Hoyle trying to put in a wizard, trying to turn, get to a spot where he can kind of slip that leg out. Soriano's starting to cover. Drexel bench wants to call it 3. It's not quite. And there's going to be the takedown for Soriano. So he's going to go up 7-2 on Justin Hoyle. Drexel bench was ready to throw the brick if that wasn't called a takedown there.
It took Soriano a long time to get that 3 points. Once again, credit to Hoyle's defense, making it basically impossible for Soriano to get that 3. If Soriano wants to get points on the board, he needs to work hard for that, and he saw he did that in that last sequence.
Hoyle up to his feet, but Soriano drops down to the leg. He'll let Hoyle go, though. Be 7-3. Hoyle calls for a little break here. Looks like it got blood time of Soriano.
Now we're seeing a very tough matchup from Soriano. You're seeing why he's ranked, and one of the reasons why he's ranked so high was over his victory over Wyatt Henson of Lock Haven at the Keystone Classic. That was a 12-11 decision he was able to capture, and that's for sure been the biggest victory of his career so far with Drexel. Now Soriano is coming into this match on a 6-match win streak. Got a 6th win earlier today over Devin Matthews, where he did secure a pin. So Soriano right now with a 7-3 score with a minute left in the third will try to make this his 7th victory in a row.
Yeah, and this is a tough senior night for Justin Hoyle, facing a ranked guy, but doesn't take away from what he's accomplished here with the Pride. 3-time EIWA place winner, 8th place, 7th, and 7th again. And like you said, Zach, earlier, team captain. He's really been this guy that the team has looked up to. Last season when he was out due to injury, he was still coaching on the sidelines, really engaged with these guys. And so his presence will definitely be missed in the wrestling room, but he's still got a chance to fulfill his dream and make it to that national tournament. So that's going to be, he'll be able to do that at the EIWA Championships in March. It's going to be March 7th and 8th at Lehigh. So that'll be really exciting, really great ground for opportunity for a lot of these Hofstra wrestlers who are kind of just been at that cusp, you know, almost there, almost making it. So we'll talk about Ross McFarland when he comes up, and Kyle Mosher won't be wrestling today, but he's one of those guys that has been almost there a lot. Hoyle quick to a shot right off the whistle, and he'll get around and get 3 for Soriano. And he's back to pressuring the pace. They'll go out of bounds, though, so they'll get reset here. 53 seconds. Great work from Justin Hoyle to use that time to reset, get his mind right, and go for it. Drexel bench is saying the score is not quite right.
It looks like they fixed the score. They did not award Soriano 1 point for the escape. It seems like there's pause in the action once again quickly. But Hoyle right from the get-go went in on the shot, and it seemed just like Soriano was not ready for it. He was able to defend it quickly, but Hoyle did not give up on that, was able to get around to the back and right away let him go, and aggressive pushing once again for another takedown. The Hofstra bench was yelling for a stall warning on Soriano in that sequence. None awarded, similar to hers, or earlier in the match, the Drexel bench was yelling for a stall warning. See Hoyle pumped up right now.
Yeah, 53 seconds on the clock. A takedown would win this match for Justin Hoyle, but between these two, it's frankly, one takedown is not enough. They have been so neck and neck. Soriano once again pressuring Hoyle, trying to throw by. Soriano in on the leg, though. And so that's going to be a takedown for Soriano. Hoyle still in a position where he could work here. Franco's going to throw the brick here.
30 seconds.
Doesn't like that call, and so we're going to pause for a stalemate and review that call.
I believe that is the right move to do this late in the matchup. If takedown or not, why not get it reviewed? And it's such a close matchup.
Yep, you're right. This is an extremely close matchup. The one thing you have to be careful with the brick is if you make that challenge and the refs don't accept your challenge, they keep it as what they initially thought, you don't get that brick back. And so later in that duel could end up having some consequences, but why not take the chance? Last duel meet of the season. It's your senior night. You think you could win this? Throw the brick.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Kind of, in a way, respect to Justin Hoyle that we trust you and we know how important you advancing and getting a higher seeding in the EIWA qualifiers is. So the challenge block did fail, and they award 3 points to Soriano.
28 seconds on the clock here. 11-6 is the score after all those takedowns and stuff. Hoyle still is in this match. He's been wrestling really hard here. Looks like he's trying to set up a throw or at least get that other takedown. Soriano gets the leg, though, is really successful in this position. Hoyle trying to get around here. Referee's going to call stalemate. We'll get reset with 9 seconds to go. 7-11 is the score.
With this little left in the match, Soriano is not trying to just pace around. His method of defense is more offense. When it was 8-6, now to 11-7. He's going for the takedowns. He wasn't trying to pace around there. A very aggressive end for Soriano and also Hoyle. A very entertaining matchup and a very impressive matchup from two tough competitors.
Yeah, I would say that was a very tough match from both guys. Justin Hoyle really showed off his defense there, being able to avoid Soriano's just flurry of attacks. He did ultimately fall, and so that's going to be 3 more team points for Drexel to bring up 9-0. The Pride has yet to get on the board, but moving to 149 pounds, we have some really good action coming up here.
Yes, we do. 2 more familiar foes as we have Noah Tapi, a sophomore from Illinois with a record of 12-10 this season, taking on Dominic Findora, who's a redshirt freshman from Pennsylvania with a 12-15 record this season. Now Findora defeated Noah Tapia twice, both 5-4 victories, March 8th of 2024 and February 24th of 2024. 2 very close matchups. So even though Findora got the best of Noah Tapia in those matchups, this is any man's battle.
Yeah, in those matches, it was the duel against Drexel last season where Tapia lost, and then at the EIWA Championships, Tapia really had such an amazing freshman year in season and then just wasn't able to really put the pieces together in the EIWA Championships when it mattered most. But he's only improved this season. There's been no sophomore slump, and so we'll see if he's able to make it work because he had a rush in there as they went out of bounds.
The Drexel bench just warned Findora about the Russian, trying to keep him precaution of Noah Tapia and what he has in his toolbox. But Findora is coming off of a defeat earlier today to Drew Withman. The 2 combatants fought in a bloodbath. Withman was able to pull out the victory in triple overtime. And Withman is also Noah Tapia's most recent opponent, but Tapia was able to get the victory, a 5-2 decision win.
Yeah, this Drexel bench was really good at noticing that Tapia, as he's in on a shot here, I was just going to say, he has a very impressive upper body set of offensive moves, including from the Russian. But he's also just as good on his feet, on the legs, as he's trying to turn the corner here. This is a position we saw Justin Hoyle and Chase Liardi get in a lot today. Drexel's done a really good job of dropping to the ankles and making it difficult for Hofstra to adjust here. But Tapia doing a good job of keeping his head and his hips high as he's trying to expose Findora here. Findora doing a good job of getting to the ankle. Neither guy really in a position to win it here. Findora starting to lift, though. This is a dangerous position. Tapia now the one trying to reach for the ankles and not have Findora come out the back. Findora isolating aside. It's kind of a long time for this exchange to be going on, but the referee still seems to think that they're making progress as Findora is going to turn the corner here. No takedown yet. Tapia doing an incredible job of staying in this, but there we go. That's going to stop it for potentially dangerous, but really long exchange there.
Long exchange, but one, I agree with the referee's decision not to stop. There was constant movement. You saw there that Findora put himself in a position where he was close to wrapping around Tapia. So long sequence. Might have been a slower sequence, but both wrestlers were progressing and trying to get 3 points.
So 0-0 at the end of this first period, starting the second here. Tapia on bottom, quick to the quad pod. Findora leaning on this left side here. Tapia controlling hands here. And so he'll get the escape.
One escape, Hofstra.
Tapia controlling the center of the mat. Findora posting on the head. Trying to make Tapia move in a way so that he can set up his offense. Findora takes a shot here on the leg. Tapia trying to get his hips back. Get Findora in a front headlock here. Gets to his feet. Trying to drop Findora and get around.
1 minute.
They'll break here, but Findora doing a good job of staying really low, making Tapia have to drop to his level. You see a flurry of fakes there from Findora, trying to get Tapia to step.
Tapia doing a good job of not falling for the feints, not overreacting to Findora's movement. Findora's doing a good job of circling the mat, trying to find openings, but both wrestlers are still feeling each other out in the middle of the mat.
Findora in on a leg here. Tapia locking around the body. About 20 seconds left in this match. Findora now trying to come out the back. This is the position we saw earlier in this match where he's going to try to isolate the side, but Tapia doing a good job of holding around the waist. Short time here. Findora still on the legs, trying to climb the body. There's going to be no takedown there. So still 1-0 in favor of Tapia as we enter this third period, but it was really close there. If Findora had just climbed the body a little bit more, could have gotten a takedown.
As we saw in their 2 previous bouts, it was very close, decided by 1 point. Right now it is only a 1-0 matchup, so once again, a very close matchup between 2 very tough competitors.
Tapia going for a leg ride here, getting Findora flat. Looks like he's going to try to turn here. He's got his hands locked, but he's getting a little bit high here. He has to be really careful as Findora is starting to build, and so Findora is in a really good position to get a reversal here if he can lift Tapia's leg and turn into him. It's a hard spot for Tapia where he either has to be able to adjust and cover on top or get out. Findora's in on the leg here. Now in almost, was going to be a single position, but Tapia worked out of that. So now it's 1-1. Findora only got an escape for that exchange, but that could have easily been a reversal and put Tapia in a dangerous position.
Very easily could have been a reversal. And you saw there when Tapia was trying to go for a turn, trying to go for a power half. Fedora did a good job of facing the other way, building up, which made Noah Tapia a little high on Fedora, which gave Fedora a chance to get the 1 point, and as you mentioned, almost got the reversal.
Both guys come in with 12 wins this season. So they're kind of sitting in a similar position where they've both kind of helped their teams out a lot of times, been very successful. Now looking to make that postseason run.
30 seconds.
Tapia really pressuring in on Fedora here, though, trying to get his offense going.
Fedora did make a postseason run last season, getting sixth place at the IWAs. And this season, not as good as last season. Last season, he goes to a 24-13 record. You'll see there Fedora getting once in on the leg and trying to go back door.
In the same position, but just a couple more seconds, and it looks like we're going to have to go into overtime in this match. Neither guy has scored a takedown, so it's really anyone's chance. The one thing I don't want to see is that same position where they're both trying to come out the back and it's just flip-flopping, because it seems like neither guy has really been successful there.
Now this is his second time in overtime today. We mentioned the Drew with him overtime, and once again it was a 1-1 score going into OT. So Fedora is used to this position as he was at maybe 3 hours ago. So let's see if it'll be the same results with a loss and no Tapia can get the win here.
Fedora solidly in on the leg here. Tapia with the wizard, though, making it really difficult. He's even got his shin to make a shin wizard. Really makes it difficult for Fedora to get around, but doesn't really allow Tapia to work his own offense here. Tapia trying to adjust, but Fedora is going to climb the body and get the takedown here to win in overtime. It's going to be a 4-1 win for Luke. Excuse me, not Luke. Trey, or for Fedora. And so that's going to put the Dragons up 3 more team points. So it's going to be 12-0 as the team score right now.
Yeah, you saw Tapia had a really nice shin wizard, and he was able to face forward, but in his path trying to face forward of Fedora, he kind of got caught in this position where Fedora was able to just drive through, get the double, and get the 3 points. But as you mentioned before, 157 is a forfeit. Luke Nichter got the 6 points for Drexel. Booston score to 18-0. And now we do move on to 165, where Matthew Rogers, who's a junior from Wantagh, New York, hasn't seen that much action this season, but we see him competing against Cody Walsh, a senior from New Jersey, with an 11-13 record this season.
So Rogers is going to get himself on the board pretty quick here with a takedown. Rogers has not been the starter, of course, this season. Kyle Mosher has been ranked pretty much all season, coming in at number 32 currently in the rankings. Of course, grad transfer from Columbia. Rogers has been here for a minute. Just kind of sitting right behind Mosher, but getting to wrestle here today. Rogers in on this front headlock. He's got an underhook here. Breaking Walsh down really well.
Seeing Rogers get that 3 points early in the matchup is crucial. He wasted no time, was able to get that takedown, something that we haven't seen from Rogers so far this season. So to do that against a very tough competitor in Cody Walsh, someone that has 67 wins in his time with the Dragons. It's a great start for Rogers in this matchup.
Walsh starting a post on the head here. Rogers with a nice fireman's attempt. Walsh got him in a front headlock here, though, but was a nice little attempt at some offense there from Rogers.
As you mentioned, Kyle Mosher, the person normally starting at this weight class, Rogers is taking this opportunity and trying to excel as much as possible, not taking it for granted, using it, being aggressive against Cody Walsh.
Walsh trying to throw by here, but it's going to be called potentially dangerous. It would have been just a cow catcher there. Pretty normal position, but referee called potentially dangerous. So they got reset here. About a minute left in this first period.
The Drexel bench is not afraid to get their voices known to the refs. We saw a few times during the meet the Drexel coaches stand up to the side of the mat, complaining to the refs of what they think the right call should have been. But the match keeps pushing forward as two are back in the center of the mat with 35 seconds left on the clock.
30 seconds.
Cody Walsh also competed earlier today, gaining a 17-3 victory at LAU. Rogers did not compete at LAU last dual meet for the Pride. As I mentioned before, Kyle Mosher, it's a normal starter where he got an 8-6 victory over Ferrari.
There's a couple more seconds here in this first period. Rogers leads 3-1. Really important first takedown to get for the Pride. Kind of sets Rogers up really nice for the rest of the period and puts it in Walsh's mind that this is a guy who can battle, who's here. Yeah. So Walsh is going to start on bottom in this second period.
And something about Walsh this season is he has been very streaky. Started the season out losing 5 in a row. Then right after that, won 7 in a row. And then as of recent, he has lost 8 of 9. Broke that chain getting a win at LIU today. But someone that is either really hot or is really cold.
Rogers did a really good job of following there as Walsh kind of sat out and started to turn in. Rogers even starting to set up like a suck back to try to get some near fall points, but Walsh avoided that at least. Rogers brings him back down to the mat here. Some really good pressure, but Walsh will get the escape, bring it to 3-2. Walsh on the front headlock. Rogers with a shot, though. Really sprawled out here, though. Rogers trying to build up, so he'll get back to his feet. Walsh trying to bring him back down and use that. Walsh has a nice little kind of lock set up here where he could try to throw Rogers. That same kind of position we saw earlier. Walsh now trying to work around. Rogers doing a good job of staying square and not letting him get around.
Walsh had the quarter Nelson trying to throw his opponent. Rogers did a good job of following through. He realized what Walsh is doing, but did a good job of staying forward. But
Walsh still trying to get behind, and he will, but they'll be out of bounds, so that won't be a takedown. Very narrow margin there.
Rogers determined right from the whistle, went straight to the mat. Once again, Walsh getting under the chin and dropping Rogers. Seems like no fight from Rogers there to kind of prevent Walsh getting in this position that he's been in multiple times in the matchup.
10 seconds.
Walsh still using that kind of position, working around Rogers here. Rogers doing a good job of continuing to move, though, as he dives for the ankle to stay in this match, making the score 3-2. Zach, you're right. This Drexel bench is not afraid to get up and get loud, which I guess they're going to need as Philadelphia is hosting the NCAA tournament, the actual national tournament. So it's going to be a lot of Drexel fans, a lot of UPenn fans, a lot of people from this from this area. Yeah, it's going to get loud. The Wells Fargo Center in March, but of course have to go through EIWA's first. That's going to be at Lehigh, but a lot happening on this kind of northeast sector, I guess, on the East Coast.
A lot happening, and to switch gears for a quick second across to the David S. Mack Sports Complex. It is the county finals for Section 8 wrestling. That is all the high schoolers, potentially future wrestlers for the Pride. There's guys on the Hofstra's roster like Ryan Arbite, who has won counties. There are guys like Chase Liardi. So plenty of wrestlers have came from these Section 8 tournaments and done great things with the Pride, but we move back onto the matchup where Walsh is on top with under 2 minutes in the third.
And Rogers starting to build to his feet, trying to get to a quad pod. Looks like he was going to go for a reversal there on Walsh. Walsh staying tight on the body here. Going for a turn on Rogers, but Walsh getting really high, and so allowing Rogers to almost get to his head and set up that reversal. Walsh trying to lever the arm here, get the wrist. Still working here on Rogers. Rogers is kind of bundled on the bottom, making it hard for Walsh to set up an offense, but no stall calls have been made by the official. Walsh trying to set up a turn here, working under Rogers' arms. He's got an arm bar here, so a really dangerous spot, but he's really high on the body. Rogers just trying to weather the storm here. About 30 seconds left in this third period. Walsh has the riding time advantage here, though, so right now they're tied as Walsh is starting to get some near fall points here. So he'll get 4 near fall, bring himself up 6-3, and then over a minute of riding time. So unless Rogers is able to get up and get a takedown, Walsh will win this match, but a really good offense from Rogers, a guy coming off the bench, kind of the backup, going out here and trying to make stuff happen. That first takedown was probably the best thing I've ever seen from Rogers. I gotta be honest, it was really great.
Great work from Rogers. He was so close to picking up a victory against a very tough competitor in Cody Walsh. Rogers did a good job of preventing the throws that Walsh was trying to do from that head toss the whole matchup. And we were mentioning county champions before. I forgot to mention the guy that was just on the match in Matt Rogers, a 3-time county champion. Also a state champion in 2020, so very credentialed. But we do move on to 174 with Matthew Waddell, who's a redshirt freshman from Georgia, compiling a 2-7 record this season, taking on Josiah Queen, also a redshirt freshman from New Jersey, holding a 17-3 record this season.
Queen is coming in ranked number 32 in the national rankings. But both these guys fairly young competitors, young starters for their teams. Waddell has kind of become the starter here at 174. He's really earned that position. He's had a couple of really clutch wins as he's still trying to kind of fill in what was a really tough opening with Ross McFarland moving up to 184 pounds for the Pride. But Queen's going to start the offense off really quick here and get a takedown, but Waddell's going to get up to his feet and get the escape.
Queen is a very tough competitor. You mentioned ranked in the IWA rankings. Earlier today, he was able to pin his opponent in the third period, so he has that ability. Someone who has multiple pins on the season.
Queen is 16-3 coming into this match, while Waddell is only 2-7. But I feel like that record doesn't really live up to how much effort Waddell puts into his matches. Even in the matches he loses, I feel like he's just continuing to improve match after match and really show some really good fight against some pretty good opponents this season.
Yeah, Waddell has earned that 174 spot. It was up for grabs at the start of the season. Going into the season, we all thought Rogers was wrestling at 174. Rogers decided that weight cut wasn't for him anymore. Moved up to 84, where he's found a lot of success. But Waddell has been able to cherish this opportunity and try to make the best of it.
Waddell with an underhook here, going for a throw by, which he kind of hit on the edge of the mat earlier, but wasn't able to get to an offense from there. It's a nice little attack that we've seen from him before. So Queen's going to kind of stumble back, though. It looks like he might have gotten poked in the eye or something, but it's a good offense starting from Waddell, trying to go upper body against Queen here.
To fact check something, this earlier Queen got the pin. That was actually his first pin of the season. He has 8 tech falls of the season, not pins, so he knows how to get points on the board.
Queen with a heavy club here. Putting some heavy hands on Waddell, but
1 minute.
while trying to control inside ties for his own attack. About a minute left in this first period. Waddell's starting to pressure into Queen. Little shot there by Queen. Waddell with a collar tie. Flurry of some fakes and some movement there, down block.
Fast movement from Waddell to get Queen to move. Queen, 6 of his wins this season were unattached at the ESU Open. Then
Waddell had an underhook there, but Queen did a really good job of dropping out of the legs. Waddell going for a throw. Queen could have had that opportunity if he had dropped in time, but Waddell kept moving and was able to work out of bounds and stay neutral with it. Once again, a lesson in don't stop moving.
you saw Waddell try to throw Queen. He almost threw Queen onto himself, aware of the position, aware of that dangerous position he accidentally put himself into. Was able to fight through that. Get Queen awarded no points for that sequence. 3-1 going into the second period.
Yeah, that was some really good body awareness from Waddell to be able to adjust there. It's interesting that he's trying to go really heavy upper body with Queen, which is kind of Waddell's style, but he's also really committing to it to the point where it could open him up to some leg attacks from Queen. But Waddell's going to start on bottom here. Got to his feet, but Queen brought him back down.
Waddell slow to get up. Queen putting pressure on the left side of Waddell. Waddell make it at 2 feet. He got the 1 point.
So the score's going to narrow up here, 2-3 in favor of Queen. Which for Waddell, a win over the number 32 guy would be, I want to say, his first ranked win ever,
Yes.
and would be some really good momentum going into the postseason for such a young guy.
And now Queen got that ranking spot with his biggest win of the season was a 13-3 decision over Caleb Campos of American. That was probably the win that kind of broke him out into the weight rankings. Queen, a very credible opponent, and Waddell is making this a fight.
Both guys still in this hand fight here. Waddell tried to control a wrist. Got about 40 seconds left in the second period, but Queen with a really solid takedown. Almost no defense there from Waddell as Queen just blew right through him to put himself up 6-2.
It's a beautiful blast double from Queen. Got into the legs, used his head to push through Waddell. You can't really sprawl in a position like that. Queen found his opening to get 3 points. This was it was more slow and more of a methodical period compared to the first.
10 seconds.
Queen was able to use that to his advantage and find the perfect opening to get 3 points.
Yeah, it seemed like Queen was content to wait for Waddell to kind of try to like stand up and expose his own legs and time that shot just so perfectly that there really wasn't anything Waddell could do. But going into this third period, 6-2 is still our score. Waddell's going to take, or Queen's going to take bottom, so Waddell will take top. Waddell drops to the crotch here for a lift. Beautiful mat return. But Queen's going to build up really quick. Waddell once again going to try to drop to the crotch, but Queen does a good job of getting his hips around. Queen standing almost straight up as he'll take a shot here, though, on the legs, and so he'll get another takedown. Really fast twitch there from Queen. You see he was standing like straight up and then was able to get down even lower than Waddell, lower his level and take that shot, just drive right through him. So that's going to bring the total to 10-2. He's got 57 seconds of riding time.
Queen's bread and butter has been that blast double. His previous takedown was also on that. The way Queen is able to shoot that double leg, it's kind of impossible to get a sprawl. He waits for that perfect opportunity. One with Dahl is a little more straight up instead of low to the ground to capitalize and get the takedown.
And Queen's going to go for another takedown attempt here. Waddell with a whizzer, but he's only got so much time to work here as Queen's trying to get a takedown here. So Queen is well within major decision territory.
They start off with a basic double leg. Waddell got close to Queen, grabbed around the upper part of Waddell's leg, pushed forward. Waddell had a wizard there, and Queen kind of just used his strength to pop the wizard up and get it behind him to get an extra 3 points. 10 points differentiates the wrestlers, and now the two are going to go back to the middle of the mat.
Even though Drexel didn't come into this match ranked as a team, they have faced so many ranked opponents that while, yes, their score is 10-9 as a team, they have been battling some of the best teams in the country. Started off with number 25 UNC, excuse me, number 1 Penn State. They also had number 17 South Dakota State, number 26 Wyoming, number 22 CSU Bakersfield, number 22 Cal Poly, 25 UPenn. So just ranked after ranked opponents. So while on paper it might not seem like Drexel is a nationally competitive team, they have battled with the best. And so you're seeing that today as Hofstra just is unable to put any points on the board, with Drexel going up 25-0 over the Pride. But we've got a big matchup here, Zach.
Yes, we were talking before. This was the matchup you had circled down and is at 184, where Ross McFarland, a graduate student from Pennsylvania, New York, with a record of 11-5, will be taking on Giuseppe, who's a graduate student from Lakewood, New York, with an 11-7 record this season. You mentioned Ross McFarland is ranked. He's ranked number 24 in the Flow rankings and is 33 in the RPI rankings for his weight class.
We've got a lot of history on the mat here, though. Who's wrestled at Hofstra for 2 seasons, actually, believe it or not, 2018 and 2019, before heading to Buffalo for 3 seasons where he qualified for the NCAA championships, and then had a season at Oklahoma and is now at Drexel. Whereas Ross McFarland has spent all of his seasons here with the Pride. He's been a multiple-time team captain. In on the leg here, looking to get himself going. Like we said, both of these guys ranked. Depends on where you're looking on the rankings, but both of these guys have gotten a lot of national attention this season. McFarland still on this leg. Who's doing a good job of sprawling out, getting his hips back. Trying to work towards McFarland's leg and try to get to his ankle here. McFarland's got to keep moving here and keep that lock. Who's moving for a crossface to try to break up the lock here. Both guys still just circling around. McFarland needs to get his hips under him to be able to build here. Referee finally calls stalemate, so they'll go neutral, back on their feet here.
McFarland did a good job of following who's in this position where you're trying to circle back, but McFarland did a good job just following through and sliding with him. Every time Hoos moved, McFarland moved, preventing Hoos from getting closer to the legs and being able to capitalize on his position.
Talked about national rankings, though. Looking at EIWA rankings, McFarland is ranked #1 in the conference right now, whereas Hoos is coming in at #3. Of course, you could argue either way. These are two guys who really have faced a lot of tough competitors, have had a lot of success this season, a lot of success in their careers, both with over 40 wins in their careers.
You mentioned tough competitors. They're both coming off a win of Anthony D'Alessio, who's wrestling earlier today, getting an 8-2 victory, while McFarland wrestled him on Monday and got a 6-2 victory. So who's found slightly more success, but both very similar scorers against the same opponent.
30 seconds.
McFarland was starting to work a rush in there for a minute, trying to work kind of an upper body attack. About 20 seconds left in this scoreless first period. Not surprising for these guys.
Reminder that it is senior night, and McFarland, again, someone that's been a captain of this team for multiple years. This is his 6th year in the program, and he has accomplished a lot for the Pride, gaining 50 wins here. Placed 7th in EIWAs in 2023. You mentioned ranked 1st this season. This is the year for McFarland to make it far in the EIWAs. Ranked 1st, hopefully he can win the tournament and find himself with good seeding going into the Nationals.
Yeah, McFarland has placed 3 times before in the EIWA championships. He's placed 8th and then 7th twice. So much like Justin Hoyle. Much like Justin Hoyle, is really a mainstay in this program. Super influential to these guys. His dream career is literally to be a high school teacher so he can coach wrestling as his job. So he cares so much about this sport. And you can see it in how he wrestles and how he engages with the team. Super focused, always being that example. So he's in on a shot here, a beautiful single leg. So we'll see if he's able to finish as Hoos takes him down on the mat. McFarland switches to a double, but Hoos doing a great job of getting his legs back and really sprawling out. So they'll go out of bounds. But what a beautiful series of attacks there from McFarland, just not quite able to capitalize on it.
You hear the place erupting for both these wrestlers. The Drexel bench going loud, Hofstra bench going loud, the crowd is going loud. This is probably the closest matchup we will see today. Of course, the Hoyle Soriano bout was a very close matchup, but on paper, this is the one that speaks the most volume.
I have a stop here. Looks like McFarland might have gotten poked in the eye. Says he's all good. Focus up and get back to action. A minute left in this second period. 1-0 the score still. Another shot there from McFarland. A snap attempt there by Hoos. Trying to put McFarland in a front headlock here. Hoos with an underhook here. Stamp that front headlock. McFarland getting some space where he can set up his attack.
10 seconds.
We'll snap there to clear the ties. There's a couple more seconds in this second period. So this is going to come down to either McFarland riding out Hoos for this third period or a takedown.
We saw in Noah Tapia's matchup that it ended up being 1-1. Will Hoos do the same thing and be able to get the escape here and make it a 1-1 matchup going into overtime? Or will McFarland be able to hold him down? Will they get to their feet? McFarland will be able to get a takedown here.
That's going to be escape there for Hoos, but Jamie Franco does not like that call. He doesn't have a brick, so he can't make a formal challenge, but he really does not like that call.
We mentioned earlier how throwing the brick might have been a bad call. And that's where a brick throw would have been very crucial. We mentioned how Justin Hoyle is a senior. You're kind of throwing the brick Out of respect for him, close to EIW rankings, this is another wrestler that you would throw the brick in, especially in a position like that. Definitely a more questionable position, but Ross is not discouraged by that, going for another takedown.
No, we've seen McFarland when it's necessary and he needs to get that takedown, he can make it happen. He's got enough time to work here and set up some shots and get a takedown. Got a little over a minute here, but he's got to get moving. He's got to really want it, get that pressure on.
We mentioned Ross is ranked this season. He had the longest streak of 6 victories, including some wins at the Journeyman Classic, a win at Ohio, defeating Gavin Bell, winning every matchup at the Hofstra Quad. McFarland has put a good resume this season, granting himself that #1 spot in the IW rankings.
There's going to be a stall warning on Hoos, which could end up being in McFarland's favor if he can pressure Hoos some more in this match. Got to the leg, but really solid sprawl here on the edge of the mat. Neither guy really going to work. So they'll get reset here. 22 seconds on the clock. This would be a really good win for McFarland if he's able to get a takedown.
McFarland was kind of far in that shot, but you saw him try to knee slide into the leg, but he was still far enough where he was able to recognize position, sprawl, and prevent McFarland from getting 3 points. But it looks like it's going to be what we kind of alluded to, another 1-1 matchup going into overtime. These two are very close in the EIWA rankings, #1 versus #3. So this is a crucial matchup for both wrestlers.
McFarland has gone into overtime a few times this season, most recently against Will Ebert of Binghamton, who was ranked #23 at the time. So he's been here. The question is he able to be successful here in these next 2 minutes?
He is undefeated in overtime this season. So that is a positive sign for McFarland.
Who's starting pressure, but McFarland drops to a leg. Had a really good opportunity, but who's able to just back out and avoid it as heel work to a legs here. McFarland dove through to the leg on Hoos's ankle. No points for anyone. Drexel bench is saying just wrestle and then they'll throw the brick, but Hoos will get the takedown, and so he'll win in overtime over Ross McFarland. 4-1, so that'll put the Drexel Dragons up 3 more points to 28-0, but what a crazy ending for that match there.
That was a crucial match, and it can all start from a controversial escape. Now, of course, there are people in the crowd yelling, trying to cheer on McFarland, trying to give their piece of advice, but ended up not going his way. But we move on to 197, where another senior, Nicholas Miller from Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, with 11-11 record, will be taking on Michael O'Malley, who's a graduate from New Jersey with a 6-1 record this season.
O'Malley comes in ranked #19 in the country. Miller's been on kind of a hot streak, though. He's looked really good, and so a win here today would be huge going into postseason. But O'Malley really quick to get a takedown here and set up this spiral ride, already making it really difficult for Miller.
O'Malley has wrestled over 100 matches in his career, with 84 of them being a victory. O'Malley this season has only wrestled 7 matches. Obviously, not the caliber that you would expect from a starter, but injuries have got in the way for Michael O'Malley. But
Miller gets the escape there. Make it 3-1. O'Malley coming in ranked #2 in the EIWA. and has placed and qualified for the NCAA tournament back in 2023. Working a Russian here on Miller. Little break.
O'Malley also wrestled earlier today against LAU, getting a first period pinfall over Conley.
3-point takedown, Drexel.
O'Malley will get another takedown there. Miller kind of in a tough spot here against a really tough guy. O'Malley's starting to put legs in. Make it even more difficult for Miller to build.
1 minute.
About a minute left in this first period. 6-1 the score right now. O'Malley starting to build to an armbar on Miller. Go for a turn or even a pin from this position. Really, really hard there on Miller's shoulder. So he's starting to turn and try to get some exposure here. Miller in a really tough spot. There's not much you can do there than try to limp arm out or grab your own hip and turn down, but Miller's really not going to be able to do anything here. So O'Malley getting that near fall point.
O'Malley using all his strength, putting weight, so much weight and power on that shoulder. Super uncomfortable. Probably one of the most painful positions you can be put in a wrestling match. But O'Malley able to capitalize it and increasing the score to 10-1 to end the first period.
Once again, a tech fall is 15 more points than your opponent, and it looks like that might be what O'Malley is working for here. Second period, looks like we're going to start neutral, so O'Malley is able to try to work some more takedowns, but Miller's not out of it yet. Can still fight. Try to get some offense going.
As we look to our last matchup, it has been a tough night for the Pride so far. The score is 28-0. We'll see if Nicholas Miller can change the tide here against a very tough Michael O'Malley, or if Danny Church will be able to get a victory in the last matchup.
Miller, another one of those seniors that we're honoring tonight. 11-11 on the season and 30-38 in his Hofstra career. Kind of sat behind Trey Rogers for most of his time here, but the last two seasons has been the starter at 197. And I feel like even just recently in the last couple of months, he's made some really big jumps. He seems like a guy who's constantly like trying to improve as he goes for a shot here on the leg. But another one of those seniors we want to make sure to highlight tonight.
Yeah, early this season, won the Journeyman Classic. Someone that has picked up big victories for the Pride in crucial times. Nicholas Miller has been a bright spot in the starting lineup. Again, 11 victories, one of the highest on the team this season. He has been a staple, and you can always rely on him to put on a very high-quality matchup.
That takedown from O'Malley is going to move it to 13-1 as he's trying to get some near fall here from Miller, which would do it for the match. See how much he's awarded here. That's going to be 4. So it's going to be a win by technical fall for Mickey O'Malley and bring the team score to 33-0 for the Pride going into this final match at heavyweight.
Yeah, the Pride has not been shut out this season so far. So if Danny Church does not pick up a victory, this would be the Pride's first time not getting any victory in a dual meet. But we do move on to 285, where Danny Church, a redshirt freshman from Erie, Pennsylvania, with a record of 4-6, will be taking on Ibrahim Amir, who is a senior from Missouri, with a record of 7-9. Amir is on the lighter end of things. Wrestled a lot of matches at 215 for the Dragons, but getting bumped up and has been getting bumped up for them. Earlier, wrestled at LAU, getting a 4-1 victory in his matchup.
Some hand fighting here from both guys. Church trying to set up some offense. A little fake there. Collar tie, working inside. Wrist control there from Church. Amir now with a heavy collar tie. About a minute into this first period.
These two did also wrestle last season. Amir did beat Danny Church 2-1.
Amir with a nice little duck go behind there to get the takedown on Church. Church quick to his feet though, so he'll get the escape. Church is a first-year starter after Keaton Kluver graduated last season. He represented the Pride at the NCAA championships. Was the only qualifier for the Pride that year. So Church has had to kind of adjust to the starting position while still being fairly young.
Looking at the two wrestlers, it seems like Danny Church is quite big compared to Ibrahim Amir. But once again, Amir, naturally a 215-pounder, someone that's been bumped up for the Dragons. And Amir is trying to get the final win for the Dragons for their shutout. But Danny Church is doing the best
30 seconds.
he can, defending takedowns and try to pick up a victory of his own.
About 20 seconds left in this first period. Two more seniors who we didn't see wrestle tonight, but want to make sure we mention Joe Russo, who would have wrestled at 157 pounds for the Pride most likely. Amir gets another takedown here to put himself up 6-1 over Church. But back to what I was saying. Joe Russo transferred from Nassau Community College, came and joined the Pride. Hasn't really seen any action, but has been in the room working hard. And then Kyle Mosher, of course, grad student from Columbia this season who transferred in. He's been really incredible at filling in that middleweight, that 165 role for the Pride, which had kind of been open for the last few seasons. But he was a really big pickup. He, of course, trained with Jamie Franco back all the way in high school, as Mosher is a pretty local guy here on Long Island. And then at Columbia when Franco was there for one season, last season with the Lions. But Mosher's someone who's really trying to look to make a run in March and qualify for the national championships.
Unfortunately, Mosher or Russo did not wrestle tonight. Two guys that I'm sure fans would have loved to see wrestle on senior night, but we will see Mosher later on plenty of times, especially at the EIWAs, trying to secure that spot at nationals. Danny Church was able to get an escape, making the score 6-2.
Nice little shot attempt there from Church, trying to pick up the pace.
Fast shot attempt from a heavyweight.
It's in kind of a hard spot here where all the energy is kind of sucked out of the room. No one's really cheering anymore as they know that the team is just not going to be, there's nothing you can do with this instance. But Church is still out here fighting. And we've seen him do this throughout the season where Hofstra's been down, but he still continues to press.
30 seconds.
Short time here in the second period. 6-2, still the score. Amir working a collar tie here. This little shot, but easily moved aside by Church. So that's going to do it with the second period. 6-2 is the score going into the third. It's like Amir is going to take bottom. Amir originally wrestled at at Cloud County Community College, where he was an National Junior College Athletic Association runner-up. So came into Drexel with some pretty good credentials after 2 seasons there. Drexel, of course, overall, really impressive team. We've been talking about just how many ranked guys, how well they've done against ranked opponents this season. Of course, they're also really good in the classroom. Drexel's a top university. They've been either the team with the highest national GPA or the 3rd highest national GPA in the last 3 years. That's kind of been a running trend with this team.
Yes.
They're really high achievers. And I think you can see it in how they wrestle. They work through the positions really well. They're very smart on their feet and on the mat.
Yeah, we saw a lot of tactical and smart wrestling from Drexel. We talked about their 10-9 record and that not being exactly showing how good of a roster they are, but they also wrestle a lot of dual meets, 19 dual meets in a season. And of course tonight we'll make it 11-9 and bump them up to 20. Drexel takes a different approach than the Pride does and try to get as much dual meets as possible. They really like to work their wrestlers, have them get as much mat experience as possible, and of course try to lead them to the best pathway possible for the EIWAs.
Time starting to wind down here in the 3rd period of this match. Amir going for one last attempt here. 7-2, still the score. Riding time's not going to be a factor. Just a couple more seconds and still looking like a win by decision. And so Drexel's going to win it 36-0. But Zach, what are your thoughts on this dual meet here today?
It was a 36-0 victory for Drexel, but we can't discredit some of the work the Pride put in. There's a lot of very close matchups. We saw 2 matchups end in overtime. We saw Justin Hoyle and Soriano go to absolute war. So there was a lot to take away from this, but that does wrap up the dual meet season for the Pride and Jamie Franco's first dual meet season with Hofstra. So not the ending, not the storybook ending you'd like to see, but I still believe there was a lot of good things out of the losses.
Yeah. And so that'll do it today here in Hempstead as Drexel beats Hofstra 36-0 at home. The Pride have one last in-season competition as they head to the Patriot Last Chance Open next weekend before the EIWA Championships on March 7th and 8th. Once again, I'm Olivia Hilstead, joined alongside Zach Weicker today. Thank you for listening. Go Pride. One last time, I want to say thank you for letting us call so many matches this season. It has been a privilege to get to call matches for this team. Once again, congratulations to the seniors, Dylan Acevedo, Justin Hoyle, Joe Russo, Kyle Mosher, Ross McFarland, and Nicholas Miller. Once again, have a good night. Thank you for listening, and go Pride.